Thank you very much, Sandrine. And let me observe all protocols and provide greetings to fellow panelists. It is my pleasure today to speak to you at the launch of the Global Entrepreneurship Week in Trinidad and Tobago and across the world. So we had a very pivotal moment, and I swear to God, if one more person tells me to pivot, I'm literally going to drown myself. But it is a pivotal moment. I look back at New Year's Eve 2020. I was looking at some pictures the other day of celebrating with my husband and friends, and who knew that the world was going to change so fundamentally? And how fundamentally that was going to also change entrepreneurship. We know in Trinidad and Tobago, in the wider region and in the world, that entrepreneurship has been a vehicle for social and economic transition. And that's an easy thing to say. But I want to give you a very real example of that. I am a product of entrepreneurial journey and the success of it. My father he left school at age 12, was able to reintegrate himself at age 31 to restart his education. And when he was in his 40s, he started a business. It was an accounting firm. He had one room, one desk, and his secretary sat opposite him. And when clients came, they used to sit in the hallway. Fast forward from 1976 on to 2020 where we are today. He has passed over 20 years, but that business has been able to sustain employment, create value for our clients, and be able to sustain my mom and her income for over 20 years. Now, if he had just worked a job, the money that he had saved, unless he was a mega millionaire, would have run out a long time ago. So this is a very, very real vehicle we have open to us. But where are we today? Well, YBTT is no stranger to us. Over 10 years ago, we started a loan and grant program to strengthen operations at the organization. At that time, Shadran showed his own entrepreneurial spirit as he was a support person at YBTT, and he took on the challenge of being able to implement a system to be able to really track the loan portfolio in a very systematic way. Here we are today. I have watched with great pride as YBTT has continued to carry the banner and has also evolved in terms of the services that they are providing. Today in Trinidad and Tobago, I just want to set a little bit of context. I'm one of those people that I get really annoyed sometimes when I look at Instagram and everybody's happy, laughing, how great this lockdown is and the opportunities. I'd like to just provide a little context and a little facts for the entrepreneurs out there that may be feeling the same pain and the same stress that I myself, still heading a family business, feel. IDB and Cornell University did a survey that included Trinidad and Tobago. In Trinidad and Tobago, 60% of entrepreneurs in the lower and middle income brackets were reported that they were affected by business closure, permanent or temporary. In terms of employment, in the lower and medium income brackets, respectively, almost 67% of people have been impacted by job loss, and in the medium bracket, nearly 50% of people. So the context of COVID-19 coming on top of some growth challenges our economy has had because of supply and demand conditions in our energy sector has hit us very hard. There's less disposable income out there. Social distancing and public health measures have reduced foot traffic and have also reduced the amount that people are willing to invest in the future. And that has very serious implications for entrepreneurship. Now, the fate really depends on what sector you're in. For some, they've been able to really take advantage of opportunities afforded. Maybe they're in health and safety products and services. But for others, there's some serious challenges that really can affect their survival, as the impact of the pandemic will continue to affect our economy, probably way beyond us getting a vaccine approved. So what do we do? I think as entrepreneurs, we really have to, first of all, acknowledge that this is a difficult time and it's okay to feel a little discouraged and to feel the grief sometimes of giving up what we've worked so hard to achieve and to establish. And we partnered recently with Francis Lewis of Res Consulting on a webinar on riding the COVID wave for SMEs. And he had some very sound advice that I'd like to share. Don't feel that you're in this alone. Get some people around you. Reach out to your mentor. Maybe they're family, friends. Maybe they're other entrepreneurs or established business people that you can just talk through these things. You know, in many ways within yourself, the changes that have to be made. But really talking out with other entrepreneurs, other advisors, people that are not as closely connected to your business can be very, very helpful in helping you to overcome the sadness you may feel, the guilt you may feel on difficult decisions, and give you the inspiration to really come back fighting. This is a marathon. It's not a sprint, as Francis said. Today, maybe we're looking to survive. Maybe we've got to really focus on that cash flow. But at the same time, we have to conserve some of our energy to rethink and reboot so that maybe early next year, we start to relaunch and really change the trajectory of what we offer, how we offer it, and to whom we offer it to. Those are not easy things to achieve, but they are the things that we need to do to be able to come out on the other side of this thriving, not just surviving, but thriving. I think as policymakers and ecosystem actors, what our responsibility to the entrepreneurs is that we need to really recognize that there are different types of businesses out there and that they may need different interventions. So for example, one of my co-panelists at the aforementioned event, Marlene Atz, the economist, gave us some figures that micro, small, and medium enterprises represent about 63% of our businesses in Trinidad and Tobago, but they're very differentiated. We have some that are innovation driven, and many of us want to get there. But we also have many that have more traditional business models. And then we have some, which she has called the nano enterprises, maybe power of one, that some of them are perhaps just necessity driven. They're generating income for a family, and that is extremely important as the ones that are taking the moonshots. So different types of businesses require different types of intervention. So what is two of the key problems that as policymakers and innovation ecosystem actors, two of the immediate things that I think we could focus on? One is financial inclusion. Sometimes we think because people have bank accounts out there that they're financially included. This is not the case. The IDB says that in Trinidad and Tobago, there's a 35% gap in MSME credit, right? They may have access to a bank account, but they may not have access to even a credit card or any kind of working capital that they need to float their business, to keep operations running, and to invest for the future. One of the things that has been done in other jurisdictions as close as Barbados, and what we did in Trinidad and Tobago many years ago with quite a lot of success, was to put in place a guarantee program that would reduce the amount of collateral that an entrepreneur needs to bring to the table. Doesn't in any way minimize the rigor of the business plan that is required, but it does sort of allow them to access borrowing that they need to really move forward. The other gap that we see is digital inclusion. Now, 10 years ago, when we talked about digital inclusion, we were talking about access to a laptop and access to broadband. Today, we are talking about the ability to really leverage the digital tools that are available to us for business purposes. I see a lot of entrepreneurs moving to Instagram, to Facebook. I did a session in the Bahamas, a focus group with some entrepreneurs recently. Very small entrepreneurs, women led. And it was amazing the amount of time that these women were spending to try and master these tools and figure out how to take their business online. When what they really need to be thinking about is their business model, their products, their services, and their customers. So in this area, we really need to take a more platform approach that allows micro and small businesses to be able to digitize, but also to focus on their business. And in that area, I came across recently Planting Seeds Marketplace. Planting Seeds Marketplace, set up by another Trini entrepreneur for subscription, not a charge on every transaction, allows for you to be online, to warehouse your goods for them, and to allow them to pick the orders, deliver, collect for you, and distribute the cash at the end of the week. Planting Seeds has moved from business of $50,000 per week when they started in March on a shoestring budget to today generating about $250,000 in sales per week. That is an amazing accomplishment, and there are many entrepreneurs that are benefiting from having an online presence without having to manage it themselves. So my call to the ecosystem partners as I wrap up today, it is critical. It is our duty and it is our obligation to really consolidate and partner to provide integrated support. Just as Planting Seeds Marketplace allows to, they have digital presence, they have inventory management, they have delivery, and they have payments processing and deposit. We as ecosystem actors need to stop thinking about our projects and our programs and break those silos down. We are all relatively small organizations. We have limited resources, and we probably will have limited resources for the foreseeable future. So what we really need to do is to take a look at everything that is out there in the landscape to support entrepreneurs and to convert our partnerships and our relationships in a way that we are able, as YBTT, as IDB Lab, as our partners Kariri, as our partners at the Massey Foundation, able to really offer entrepreneurs an integrated suite of services, no matter where those services are coming from. It doesn't mean that we give up our identity. It doesn't mean that we give up our brand that we have all worked really hard to achieve. But the time is now for us to really come together and to be able to shape the future in a very positive and constructive way. So for example, we had the honor of really supporting a youth entrepreneurship program for 10 entrepreneurship support organizations in Latin America and the Caribbean, for which YBTT was a member. Also their partners in Jamaica and Barbados. So there were 3 out of the 10 in the Latin American and Caribbean region. By coming together, these organizations were able to offer training over a 3-year period to 64,000 young people, many disadvantaged, create or strengthen 20,000 businesses, of which 86% increased sales and created 13,000 new jobs. That is an amazing accomplishment. And I guarantee you, as a development practitioner who's been in the field for many years, if we had set up 10 different projects in 10 different countries, the results would not have been the same. So that program really taught us as an institution and those who participated in that integrated services really generate better outcomes for entrepreneurs. That in doing so, we really build sustainability of our own services, which allows us to sustain businesses into the future. That we, in creating a vibrant network, we together can rise, we together can succeed, and we evolve from a community of practitioners that maybe share relationships, share tools, and talk to each other, to a community of practitioners that work together to solve problems. And I would just like to close, because I know we have a hard stop, by reiterating what Dale said. 40% of revenues from many businesses are generated between Diwali and Christmas. So what do we need to do? As individuals, we need to support and encourage. I see the Honorable Prime Minister graced the upmarket yesterday. I hope he bought from many of the entrepreneurs there, because they have been having a tough time of it. But even if you can't buy something, you can reach out and encourage those entrepreneurs with just a few words, or even like their page and put a comment. It really helps them on that journey. They may be having the worst of days, and that can lift them to face another day. As ecosystem partners, in the new year that fast approaches, let's really look at new ways of coming together so that we can collectively lift these entrepreneurs, so that as a country, we can rise. We can rise to the challenge, and we can rise to the opportunities that are in front of us. And to the entrepreneurs, I just want to close by saying, be courageous. We know it's difficult. Find that strength within you, reach out, recognize it's okay to feel discouraged, but we don't dwell in that discouragement. There are people there that will help you. Maybe they can't help you financially, but maybe they can help you with sales, or refer a customer, or just give you some encouragement in your day. Find those positive people and latch on to them. As we move future forward, you are the future. We are not, as a country, going back to the days where the oil and gas sector made everything great. Our future is in entrepreneurship. And just as my family moved in a generation from basically dropping out of school to being able to complete education, and today I'm sitting in front of you with the blessing of being able to be part of a development institution that can help lift, that can help strengthen, that can help sustain. It's only because my father took that entrepreneurial journey. His customers supported him. My mother, who didn't work, was there to support him and support us as children. And that is my hope and my dream for all of you going forward, that we will look back in 2030 and we'll say, wow, that 2020, but look at where we are today. Keep hope, keep strong. I will be supporting you with everything that I buy. And let's not make Jeff Bezos rich. That's how I'd like to conclude. Thank you very much for the opportunity.